is Dumbgoal Gaming here. I am here to showcase a little bit of a classic game collection I got my hands on today. Unfortunately though, the console that I got, it does work, but the unfortunate part about it is where you put the RAM pack, where you put the memory expansion pack in the very front of the system. It had a lot of corrosion on it, and I tried cleaning it up the best I could. The furthest I got was getting perfect dark to like the main menu, and then the game would freeze. But anyways, let's go ahead and get y'all into what I at least have for when my Jungle Green console does arrive in the mail here in about a week or two. But so far, I've got a hold of this game, which obviously some of the cover art is in some bad shape, but the last time I played this copy, it worked. And I haven't played this copy that has been in storage for probably the past 10 years. I haven't played it. So I have that. Okay. Let's see. Also have this RF adapter for newer TVs, so I can sit here and output all my stuff to color cable and S-video from this thing. So if I go ahead and run that to my HDMI converter, such and such, I can hook up all my stuff to this and have everything running into that converter, and all I gotta do is hit these switches to switch the channels. So that's a pretty useful little device there. Now, this is the console I was talking about. I had this for some time, but it's been in storage for a while, and of course things have happened to it. I did take it apart and clean it the best I could also to try to get it working, but it seems like I'm having a problem with this expansion pack and the port itself. Like, if you guys could see how hard it is to even get this thing out, it's like catching on everything, so you have to sit there and really tug on it. But I don't know if you guys can really see the corrosion in there, but there's rust around the edges of that ground piece. Other than that, I mean, the pack doesn't look terrible from the outside, but right there where them connectors are, it's a lot worse than what it looks. But aside from the console, this one I'm just going to probably take to a repair shop and get it repaired. So let's go ahead and move on to the next item. The next item that we have in the list is an official Nintendo Rumble Pack. The only thing that is missing from this Rumble Pack is the battery cover. But the fortunate thing for this is I saw a video clip on YouTube earlier today that there's actually something that they did at the kiosk back in the 90s with these Rumble Packs when they first came out. So the kiosk, right, they never had a way to power these with batteries. What they did is they took these apart and spliced in a wire over to the power section so that it would provide power to this device through the remote instead of you having to put batteries in it. So that means if I take this apart, being that this is an OEM Nintendo product, I could probably just go ahead and splice a wire over and never have to use batteries again with this. So that is the Rumble Pack there. Now the Jungle Green system I'm getting in the mail, I will be getting another copy of this. But I bought this probably back when I was about 15. Maybe a little bit younger. But this is the condition the game came in when I bought it. The cover art was torn right here, where you see a little bit of that grease damage. So, to prevent Donkey Kong from getting destroyed any more than what it was, I had put Scotch tape all over the areas that I thought was going to be more or less exposed to damage the most. So I know a lot of you guys might cringe at that, but honestly, it has preserved what is left for the last like 10 years. So I mean, that Scotch tape has been doing wonders for this cover art for that game. So let's go ahead and move on to the next game. I know you guys might be excited about this one, but everybody that has played this game knows the nostalgic moments, and this is it right here. Everybody was up on Mario Party when this bitch came out. And yes, it's a little dirty. Keep that in mind. I just pulled these all out of storage, but I can 100% guarantee that every game that I'm pulling out of here will work. 100%, because none of them are showing any signs of damage whatsoever. So my favorite game, first-person shooter of all time, especially when I was growing up, like this is the game that I always played. But I even stream videos currently on my channel from the emulator version of this game off of Project 64. But here's the game, Perfect Dark. And the cool thing about this copy is I still have my original character on it, because I was able to manage to log into my combat simulator just long enough to see what my combat simulator character's like stats were, and my character was still on there up to the point to where it froze again, and then I wasn't able to boot it back up. It's just all due to that issue with the RAM stick, or the RAM pack that goes in it. Another good game, good wrestling game from this era is WWF 2000. Yes, it's not WWE back when this was made. It was WWF, the World Wrestling Federation. So back when they were WWF, they made this thing, and this was probably one of the best wrestling games ever made to like existence. And I'm not saying as far as the quality of what's been added into the game, because considering the time period, this was a like top tier wrestling game along with some of the other ones. But anyways, let's go ahead and get into another game. This one, Resident Evil 2. This game is probably the game that I have that is in the best condition. If you take a good look at that that computer chip in there, it is literally like almost brand new looking compared to like per se this brownish looking one inside of here. Most all my other games have these worn out looking chips in them. I think it might be just the type of chip they are made from. This could be a refurb, I don't know. But to me it looks highly original. And I have preserved the peeling areas on the edge here with some Scotch tape probably about 10 years ago. So I mean, that's still holding. Now we go ahead and get into the next game. Everybody used to play these things back in like the 80s and 90s, back in the arcades and stuff. But everybody remembers going to these arcade machines, and it was finally put on a cartridge once again. Namco Museum 64. You have everything from Dig Dug Galaga to Miss Pac-Man to Pac-Man, everything like that on there. It's like your whole arcade set up in one cartridge. Move on to the next game. Every Rainbow Six fan is going to be like, holy shit, he's got this. And if you're really a true Rainbow Six fan, check this shit out. The black edition of the Rainbow Six game. Very sweet cartridge design. I've always been a fan of the cartridges that were different colors. The yellow one from Donkey Kong especially. So let's go ahead and pull out another game. The next game we have is Super Mario 64. Everybody loves this game right here. And I just happened to have the millionth copy that was sold. I happen to have the 1,000,000th copy of this game that was sold. They have the official mark on this copy. So this is the first million that was sold out of all of them. Now this game, a lot of people might cringe over, but I did this stupid crap when I was a kid. I pulled off the cover art for Lego Racers. But as you can see, when I was a kid, I just drew some stupid little cartoon down here. Try to replace the cover art. But the game pretty much is, you know, it still works. This was one of the first games that I got for my Nintendo 64, along with Donkey Kong and some of the others, Perfect Dark and those as well. Now we go ahead and get into some other classics. You guys are gonna love this one. If you guys are a fan of the Zelda series, here is the original Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. This ain't the Master Quest edition. This isn't Majora's Mask. This is the original Ocarina of Time. Now this one's probably more common than, you know, the Master Quest or the Majora's Mask one. So, I mean, this one has always been a favorite of mine, you know, since I was a kid. I mean, funny enough, I beat the dude at the end of the game with just a hook shot and my sword, like no like that was like an easy fight for me at the very end of this. So we get into this next first-person shooter. This was like one of the first ones I played before I had even found out about Perfect Dark. 007 GoldenEye. And I mean, this thing is so golden that even age has shown its golden sign to the top of this cartridge. This thing has probably sat out in a box for God knows how long, and it still works. So, I mean, I've had it for years like this, and this game is in not bad of shape. I mean, the cover art, I mean, it's pretty much flawless, other than some scratches and things like that on it. There's no tears really in the sticker, so everything is there. So let's go ahead and place that down here, move it over. Here is another one. You guys might have played this, might have not played this, but this game was released on a few different consoles, including PlayStation 1, but Xena. I haven't personally played this, so I'm not sure if this one works or not, but it does have a new aftermarket sticker added to the very top of it, which I think is pretty sweet. It gives a nice, you know, vibrant look for the collection if you have it sitting in stacks, you know, sitting side by side like that or whatever, you know. Let me go ahead and get into another arcade classic. This one was on so many different Midway, like, arcade machines. But, like, if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. The very first Mortal Kombat trilogy. Next couple things I've got to show you guys is I have two different styles of memory cards for the Nintendo 64. I do have one. I'm not sure what company made this one. There's no stickers indicating anything. There's no writing other than memory card on this. I'm not sure if this is a Nintendo official memory card or not, but I would assume if it was, it would say it on it. But this is one of the memory cards that I have. This one is a very old one. Most of the ones you get nowadays have like pages on them, and you can like save stuff to like a little SD card. Now this one here, this one is an official Nintendo 64 memory card. Still has the sticker on it, and they perfectly fit into the remote at this size. So let's go ahead and set that down here. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys all the controllers that I do have. They are not in the best of shape. A lot of them have been through hell and back. But I do have the black controller. Has some minor damage on the cord, but other than that, it still functions from the last time I played it. All the buttons still work just fine. Really no sticky buttons. Stick is a little sloppy, but I'm pretty sure it still works. Let's go ahead and wrap this sucker up and go ahead and get to the next one. This one of my favorite colors, along with the jungle green. This is a solid green controller for the Nintendo 64. This is probably one of my controllers that are in the best shape currently as of right now. The stick, I mean, it's not super loose, but it does have a nice flick to it still. It's an OEM stick. All the buttons feel real nice. I mean, there's only a few minor scratches on it. Nothing too bad there. Everything seems good and clean. Go ahead and wrap that bad boy up. This one you guys might love. Oh, well, actually, no. This one might look like an official Nintendo controller, and it's not the one you were thinking. It's not the Pikachu one. This one is actually an aftermarket reproduction of a Nintendo 64 controller. How you can tell is if you look at the very top, the Nintendo logo is not actually fully engraved in there. All they have is the oval banner that goes around where the logo would have been. But there is some minor differences. The buttons are a whole lot more clappier, more fresh. Joystick is a whole lot more brand new than all the other ones, obviously. It has a whole new different joystick design. If you look down in there, it's got like this flat thing compared to the old ones. The old ones were less wide open than this one. So this is more of a newer design stick. I don't know if you guys can see the sticker back there, but that is, I think, the company that makes this controller. But as far overall feeling and stuff compared to the original controller, I'm gonna say that this does not feel like the original controller to me. It's really rough. It has like that cheap plastic feel to it, so you can kind of tell that it's a reproduction. Not to say that you couldn't use any of these parts, maybe to fix some of the older controllers. I mean, that is a possibility. It is overall based on a very similar design. However, the product is listed right there. I don't know if you, I think you can kind of see it. It's not really that visible, but there's like some engravings like right here. I can't really tell what it says because it's so small. But we'll go ahead and wrap that bad boy up as well. Now, the most cringe-worthy Nintendo 64 power supply. And can you guys believe I used this thing for over 10 years like this before I had even quit playing this? This thing has got some janky electrical tape that's just starting to come off after all these years, and then it switches over to a blue power cord from the original power deck, which, don't get me wrong, there ain't nothing wrong with this. It still functions, it still turns stuff on. But it could have used a little bit better work. Maybe some proper rewiring of this power box could have solved the issue a lot better. AV cables, kind of the same deal. There's really no splicing done, but the wires were pulled apart too far. So, of course, when I was a kid, I did some janky shit to fucking tape this shit up. So let's go ahead and move on to the next remote. Everybody knows the standard color is gray for the original release model of the Nintendo 64. Everybody take a look at this nostalgic gray Nintendo 64 controller. I have had many memories on the nostalgic original Nintendo 64 controller. Many of nights of playing Perfect Dark and 007. Many nights of playing with my friend Michael on Perfect Dark Combat Simulator. I mean, those were the good old days. So let's go ahead and show you guys the next remote that I have in my list. I have a lot of remotes in my collection. This one, I'm not going to unwrap it, but it is a fantastic 64. I think this might be like the Midnight Purple one. I can't remember the exact name, but it's a Midnight Purple or a blue color. A really nice controller. I got this one for free some time ago. I was probably still like in 6th grade at the time, so I've had this controller for a very long time. The only downsides to it is it's a little sloppy. Everything else seems to be functioning okay. Triggers, can't really tell of that one, but the cord's wrapped around the other one. I think it's working. Just probably would need a new button pad, not too far along. Other than that, one of my best condition controllers I have currently to this date. And one other aftermarket one I gotta show you guys. This one is from Retrobit. It is a bit outdated, but I got this one several years ago, probably when I was about 15. They make this controller called Retrobit. Horrible design, I'm just gonna say, for the sides. Other than that, it's got good comfort in the middle and a very good joystick. This joystick is more of a modern design, which I like that a whole lot better than the old janky design. Now, as far as the buttons go, the D-pad was kinda a no-no for me with this style of D-pad. But the A and B buttons, I do like the feel for those. They're kind of there, you know. This controller is also equipped with like turbo buttons and stuff like that. It's got like start and select on it compared to the old controller where it didn't have none of that. But let's go ahead and wrap this bad boy up. And we're going to go ahead and pull out one of my most favorite and most used Nintendo 64 controllers I have ever owned. And that is the orange transparent Nintendo 64 controller. How you can tell I've used this so much? Just take a look at the stick. This thing I used for a very, very long time. I can't even tell you if this stick even still works on this controller. But this was my like all-time favorite controller I had ever owned for Nintendo 64. I played with this one all the time. Like even at one point I had a light mod in here, but I had took it out due to the fact that I don't think it could produce the correct amount of power to sustain the lights and the system without blowing a circuit or a resistor or a capacitor or something within the console. I didn't want to take that risk, so I went ahead and took out that so it wouldn't affect the voltage or anything. But overall it worked for the time that I had it hooked up. But overall with this controller, it does need some TLC and probably some new rubber paddings for some of the stuff. The D-pad is in extremely horrible shape right now. It's going to need a new button pad replaced. C buttons and the A buttons seem to be all functioning as planned. They could use some fixable parts So this controller will probably end up getting refurbished for my collection. So let's go ahead and wrap on that. Back up. And one last thing I want to show you guys. It's not really a part of the current game collection. I just added back to my library. But this piece right here, this is a HDMI to HDMI. So if you're running like retro games and stuff like that, and you need it to, you know, be closer to the couch or whatever, you can split two HDMI cables together with this. Run it to your retro streamer or your capture card or your video conversion box. Just run it to that and then run it straight to your TV, and then you should be able to have that extra length you need when you're playing your games. If you don't happen to have a 25-foot, you know, HDMI cable or a 10-foot HDMI cable, this will give you that 5 and 5 on each side, and that'll be probably plenty enough you're going to need for an HDMI cable. So let's go ahead and end this video right here. I thank you guys for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the showcases of all these great games here. Just so you guys can see one more thing before I leave. Don't forget to try Perfect Dark out, guys. It's a very good first-person shooter. If you think Call of Duty is the best, you don't really know nothing until you play somebody in this game or 007 GoldenEye. Like, your FPS skills will go down to 0 when you play against an OG in one of the first-person shooters that ever released. So, but anyways, guys, this is Dumb Ghoul Gaming, and I thank you for watching. I will welcome you back to my channel in the next game showcase video. I might showcase some Xbox games when I get my library a bit more filled in. But anyways, once I get the Jungle Green console, I will be doing an unboxing video to show you guys everything that I get in the box. There will be some things with this bundle that will not be truly authentic to the Jungle Green bundle, which I did understand that when I bought this. I solely bought this for the console itself because it was my childhood console. I had the green one, the translucent one, like the Jungle Green edition is what I had. But anyways, guys, I'm gonna let you go. Peace out, and this is Dumb Ghoul Gaming, and thank you for watching, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button.